Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Katie and this is Rouse Rising. Welcome! Today I'm going to be sharing with you different foods, different items I have made this week to nourish my family and my friends. I'm going to be making a ham and bean soup, some gluten-free, dairy-free banana chocolate chip muffins. I'm also going to be making some of my Rice Krispie Fat Bomb bars. And I've got a few other things in here I'm going to throw together for you. Just some meal prep, just some things to make my life a little bit easier. Hopefully you're feeling inspired to make some of these recipes and prepare some food to make your week a little bit easier. That's why I'm here, to share all of this with you, nourishing recipes, holistic lifestyle, family and parenting, from our home to yours. If you guys want to stick around and see more, click that subscribe button and also be sure to give this video a like. That is a thumbs up. Stick around, I've got loads to share. Check it out. I've got these eggs that I want to use up, and we started homeschooling this week, so I would really like to give myself a morning with some ease. So we're going to make some boiled eggs. I'm going to put a cup of water in the bottom of here, but we're going to make some boiled eggs for tomorrow. And then I'm also going to be making some muffins for breakfast to have for snacks. And then we're going to be making some granola. And I also want to make some of my my Rice Krispie Fat Bomb bars that we love so much and that help curb those fat sweet cravings that we have. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to this, and then what I do is I set this on for 6 minutes manual in the pressure cooker, and then after 6 minutes I do a quick release, and then we dunk these in some ice cold water. All right, so and then over here I've got my ripe bananas, and we are going to be using these ripe bananas to make some muffins. So down here we go manual, we go all the way down to 6 minutes. And then make sure it's sealed, and that's set to go. Okay guys, so part of my food prep is making bread, and today I'm gonna make a mix of half wheat, half white bread. So what I start with, 1 2/3 cup of water, and then I put 4 tablespoons of oil in there. I use olive oil, and then on top of the water and olive oil, I'm adding the 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of pink salt, and I'll grab the rest of my ingredients so I can tell you what else I put in there. 2 teaspoons of yeast right there. Just kind of sprinkle it on there like that. So 4 tablespoons of sugar. Just to bulk this up a little bit, I do 1 to 2 handfuls of oatmeal. So 1.5 handfuls. And then I do about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of whole hemp seeds to give it a little bit more protein. And then I'm gonna throw this in. I think that's all the ingredients that I'm gonna be using. So I'm gonna go throw this into my bread maker now. And I put it on quick loaf, and that takes about 2 hours. Okay friends, so now I have put all of the eggs into some ice cold water, and the next thing we're gonna do is make this granola. So what I start doing first is I have the coconut oil on the stove warming up. You can use coconut oil, you can use butter if you wanted to. I'm using coconut oil for my granola because I'm making it dairy free. Then you're gonna have 5 cups of oats, 2 cups of walnuts, and I've used whole walnuts, and then I just took my mortar and pestle and kind of broke them up into smaller pieces. These are gonna get coated in the brown sugar and coconut oil, and they're gonna become like candied walnuts. So yummy. I don't have any desiccated coconut. Usually I put a cup of desiccated coconut in this, but I don't have any. So we're just gonna do 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and then 1/2 cup of whole hemp seeds. And then right here I've got 1/2 cup of brown sugar. We've got the coconut oil that is melting. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. I'm gonna bring you guys over here so you can see the fun stuff. Okay, so we've got coconut oil. We've got our brown sugar. I also had some maple syrup because I thought about adding some maple syrup to it, but I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're also gonna do a little splash of almond extract. It's also really good. And the almond extract is especially delicious in cookies, when we make cookies at Christmas time. So we're just gonna mash all of this brown sugar and good stuff up in here. Get this mixed really, really well before we add it to our stuff. So I want to add everything in here as well. So we're gonna start out with our walnut pieces. Delicious and beautiful. This is a protein-rich granola with all the nuts and the chia seeds and everything. And then I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon of some cinnamon in there just to help with digestion, make it a little bit extra yummy. All right, the next thing we wanna do is add all of this in there and give it a really good mix, and then we'll pop it on a tray and stick it in the oven. So for this recipe, we are starting with a cup of coconut oil. And I'm going to get that started melting down. I've got some nut butter. I've got some sunflower seeds. So this calls for 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds. We're going to do 3/4 of a cup hemp seeds. We're gonna do 1.5 to 2 tablespoons chia seeds. We have 1 cup of nut butter in here. We've got sunflower seed butter and we have almond butter. We have 1 cup of coconut oil in here that I'm mixing all up. Got to get it nice and incorporated for this. Then, instead of using a cup of honey, I used a cup of maple syrup this time. But you can use honey if you have honey. We just got over being sick, so I have honey. I'm just weary to use it all because I'd like to keep some for my tea. And I still haven't been to the store. So we're using up all of our pantry items right now for this recipe, because I am going to have to go to the store this week before Aaron leaves town to go hunting. So I'm using up some pantry items, and then I will restock everything when I go back to the store. It'll be a very expensive restock. Okay, so we need 5 cups of these Rice Krispies. Okay, so the big mess going on here. So this is going to be 5 cups. I like mine very crunchy. 5 cups here of everything else. And then we're just gonna give this a good mix and dump all this in there. Okay. I'm gonna mix all this up and make sure that it is really well incorporated. Quite simple because they just go into the refrigerator to firm up. So I'm going to put some chocolate on the bottom. Mix some chocolate up in here. Why not? Chocolate bomb bars. Love chocolate in mine, so I put as much as I want. You don't have to use chocolate. You can use chocolate. It's totally up to you. I like it. So I use it. Okay, and after this has just been sitting in the refrigerator overnight, so I just popped it out of the pan real nice and easy. You can see it's nice and solidified. And then you just cut this into whatever size bars that you want for your family. I usually cut them into tiny squares, and then they come out into little teeny rectangular or square bars, which is small enough for our family for us to have a little snack. So I'm just going to store these in an airtight container in my freezer, and then every time we want a little treat, we just go in there and grab it out. These are kind of crumbling. There we go. It kind of broke off into a chunk, didn't it? All right, friends, tonight we are making salmon cakes. So I just wanted to show you what all I have in here real quick. I put 2 cans, they're like 15-ounce cans of pink salmon. I diced up a whole bunch of onions, probably half an onion in there, diced up. I then added some red pepper flakes, some parsley, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, some fresh ground pepper, a little bit of pink sea salt. Now I'm going to add a couple of eggs and about half a cup or a cup of breadcrumbs to this. And, oh, there's shell in there. Bad mommy. Haha. That's what I get for trying to do this one-handed. All right, what a mess. Let's try this one. Wah, wah, wah. All right, there we go. These eggs came from a lady down the road where we get our raw milk. We just got rid of the last of our chickens today, so that's the last of the chicken eggs. Don't mind my butter right there. I need to put it back in the butter dish. It's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy life. So yeah, so I'm going to put 2 eggs in there. I'm going to put some breadcrumbs in there. And then I'm going to show you guys how I pat these up and turn them into salmon cakes. Okay, so we've got the breadcrumbs in there. I'm just going to add a splash of milk to kind of moisten those up and then get this all mixed in. Welcome to my mess. Yes, Lenny, I've got a mess going on here. Gosh, I hear the helicopter going over. We have a fire a couple miles down the road from us, a forest fire. So we have been kind of on high alert. It is burning to the northwest direction, so we're kind of east of it right now. So we're not too concerned, but it is the closest fire we've ever had, and there was a fire in 2016 before we moved here in the same exact place. So I failed to show you guys the finished product. So these are little salmon cakes, and I've got 3 left over in here, and they just fit in this nice little kids conserve container. But yes, I think that batch made 12 salmon cakes with those 2 cans, and we ate all but 4. So yummy, we had a good time. I'm gonna eat these on salad, and yeah, they're great leftover. You can eat them cold. After 30 minutes, the chicken looks like this. I'm gonna take it out and, oops, I'm steaming up my camera. I'm gonna move it to a plate and let it cool off underneath a piece of foil. And then once it's cooled down to room, like warm temperature, I am gonna take all the meat off and get something ready for dinner tonight. We're either gonna have, I still haven't decided, this is last minute decision making at its finest. We're either gonna have chicken enchiladas tonight, or chicken burritos. I'm not quite sure. I've got some broth there in the bottom. I am gonna make bone broth after I debone this. I'm gonna take this meat broth that's in there now and make some rice with that. And then I'm gonna take the carcass and make some bone broth for tomorrow. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 3 cups of broth back into here. Just strained it off. And it's way too much in there, so we're gonna do 3 cups to make some rice. And the rest of this I will save for the soup tomorrow, or to mix with the bone broth tonight. So we put that in there, and then for the rice, I'm gonna do 2 cups of rice. And I always rinse my rice really well before I cook it. And I always try to cook it in some kind of broth or stock, because it adds a ton of flavor and it adds a good punch of nutrition for these kids. Bone broth is really good, full of vitamins and minerals. Meat broth is really good. So I like to just try to incorporate that in as many meals as I can. Especially the summertime, it's so funny because in the summertime, we eat a ton of produce and stuff and whatever's in season, but what I mean is, in the summertime, I don't cook as much because we don't have air conditioning in our house. So there's about 2 months where I don't make really nutritious foods, and then the rest of the year, I'm able to make these nutrient-dense meals for my family, because it's cold and I can cook. So we just rinse off the rice, and then that goes in there. Then we turn back on the Instant Pot. We gotta make sure everything's sealed. And I haven't even washed it yet. I'm just going straight into rice mode. Just hit the rice button, make sure it's sealed up top, and then we're good to go. Here's the rice we made. It is beautiful, yummy, sticky rice. I'm not sure what kind of rice. I think this is basmati rice. But it's been sticky every single time we've made it, and the family's been really happy. It's even better with this chicken broth that I cooked it in, and then I added some pink sea salt. And then over here, I'm working on the chicken, getting it all torn apart, and then I'm gonna take some of the meat and shred it up, because over here, we've got a station to make enchiladas. I have a friend that is in labor right now, so I am getting together a freezer meal for her. This was actually what I was doing when she messaged me that she was in labor. And I was like, how convenient, because I have your dinner ready or almost ready, working on it. And it's so funny because usually when I get inklings to cook for people that are pregnant at the end of their pregnancy, usually they go into labor that day. It's so funny how it works out like that. So maybe I should cook for pregnant women more often. Anyways, yeah, so we're gonna make some enchiladas. Hers are dairy-free. Mine's gonna be dairy-free. I'm gonna put cheese on part of it for my family, and then convenient little foil trays. That's why I have a stash of foil trays for the pregnant mamas, the expecting mamas. Yeah, so excited to get this done. And then I also wanna make some muffins, some gluten-free muffins, because I have a bunch of bananas. So we are gonna be making some yummy, gluten-free, chocolate chip banana muffins. And I need to get on that right now after I do these enchiladas. And then I will make the banana muffins, and then that way I can take some to her as well. And once I get all of the meat off this carcass, I'm gonna throw it back in the Instant Pot, and then we're gonna slow cook it overnight so that these bones can get soft. And then what I like to do is take a potato masher and mash up the soft bones, and then run everything through a fine sieve. And that gets all the bone marrow out, that gets a lot of the minerals and things out of the chicken and into the broth, and then I can add it to our rice or soups or whatever. Delicious. Baby's got my stand. Oh no! He got the eggs. He tipped the eggs over.
Rudy, no! No!
It's Friday night, so we're gonna have some yummy brownies. Good morning, good morning. I've been telling you guys I'm gonna make these banana muffins. Today's the day. I'm gonna make these gluten-free banana muffins. It's early, you can see it's still a little bit dark outside. I'm looking like a hot mess express. I was up really late last night. One of my girlfriends had a baby, so I got the call last night. So I went over to her house. She lives right down the road from me. Picked up the placenta, came home, processed it, and then the baby did not sleep good last night. He hasn't been sleeping well. So I'm exhausted, and I've got to make these muffins. So that's what we're gonna do today. Try to knock this out for you guys. I still am working on the placenta. It has to dehydrate for a certain amount of hours until it's completely dry all the way through. And then I'm able to encapsulate it and take it back to her house so that she can have the benefits as soon as possible. All right, so enough about that. We are going to get these muffins done. I'm also going to be getting some bread going in just a few minutes, so I'll share that with you guys too. So I've shown you guys my quick loaf bread recipe for the bread machine. I killed my sourdough starter. If you guys want to look back on my channel and see sourdough, I had that sourdough starter for 6 years and kept it going for 6 years, and then I had Bodhi, and I don't know what happened to it in the refrigerator, but I killed it. So now I have to make another one, and now that the weather's kind of cold, I'm tempted to start that and to get that going so that we can be making sourdough all winter. Okay, now here's the deal. I'm gonna double this recipe, and I'm gonna make a whole lot of muffins because I wanna freeze some. I wanna take some to my girlfriend that just had a baby so that they've got some easy, quick grab muffin snacks with this newborn baby that they have. We got to start the oven, bake 350. Okay, so I'm doubling this recipe, but I'm just going to tell you guys what it is. Ooh. Watch out, stop. Okay. So now we're having fried bananas. So I let the oil get too hot. Now I let the oil get too hot, sweetie. Yeah, I got the oil too hot. I've never done that before, so we're gonna see how that works out.
Silly, Mama.
So silly. Hopefully it doesn't cook my eggs when I crack them in there, because yikes. Maybe not, maybe I'll just crack them in here. So I'm gonna add 3 eggs. Actually, I should probably add 4 because I'm doubling. 4 eggs. I am 4 eggs because I'm going to double this recipe. And if I need more muffin tins, I've got more muffin tins. Oh no! Okay, so then we need, this recipe calls for half a cup of softened butter, so I did a cup obviously. It calls for a teaspoon of vanilla, so I'm going to do 2. We're gonna have 3 teaspoons of milk and a cup of sugar. So 3 teaspoons of milk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I'm doubling it, and 1 whole cup of sugar. And then I'm gonna cream all this up together and then add the dry ingredients. So I actually need 2 cups of sugar because I'm doubling, but I use a little bit less than a cup because we don't need all that sugar. We don't need all that sugar. And then once we have that done up, I'm gonna bring over here and give it a quick little mix. So first things first, I've got a little bit of oatmeal left. So I've just decided I'm just going to add whatever oatmeal I have. These are gluten-free and this oatmeal is gluten-free. So I'm just bulking it up a little bit with some oatmeal. And then this calls for 2 cups, so I'm going to add about 4 cups of this gluten-free baking mix. If I can get it open now. How many did I say, Annika? 2?
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
3.
5.
4. All right, so we got two of that. And then we're gonna do, I just follow the directions on the back of this Premium Gold gluten-free ancient grains flour mix. So we need a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. Right, Annika?
Yeah.
This is a teaspoon, so we're gonna do 1, 2, because we're doubling it, you're right. And then we go 1, 2, because we're doubling it. And then we also want to throw in a bit of pumpkin spice, because why not?
Oh, pumpkin spice.
Yeah, so I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons of that, just to add a little bit of flavor to these. And we're also going to be adding chocolate chips in just a minute, but let's see.
Chocolate chip.
Yeah, chocolate chips. Let's see how this mixes up real quick.
I have 1 chocolate chip.
Yeah, when I get them out. Let me just make sure we've got all of our ingredients, and we do, and we're going to give them a good mix. Bulk these up with some protein and add in some whole hemp seeds. About a cup of whole hemp seeds to this whole thing. And then I'm going to add whatever's left in this bag. It's not going to be a whole lot, but we'll add whatever's left in this bag of chocolate chips. Just to sweeten it up a little, and my daughter wants a few. There you go. I'd have an ice cream scoop to scoop this into here. I don't have an ice cream scoop, do I, Annika? So we just do it the old-fashioned way, but I'm going to get an ice cream scoop for this purpose.
Oh, I have one.
So just a close-up of this bag. This is the particular gluten-free flour that I'm using right now. Flax and ancient grains, all-purpose flour, brown rice, golden flaxseed, quinoa, buckwheat, and amaranth. And then it's allergen-free. And then on the back it says Debbie K's banana muffin recipe, and that's the recipe that I use. And then I add whole hemp seeds and chocolate chips because those add protein and deliciousness. So Hagen, how many muffins did we make? 36?
No.
We made a lot. She counted them, we made a lot. So these are getting ready to come out of the oven. too fast on top, and then we're going to throw these in there.
Mama, look. It's a birthday thing.
So on the bag, it calls for cooking these at 375, but I already noticed that the ones that are in here are cooking too fast, so I bumped them down to 350. You guys probably know this, elevation affects how you bake. I still don't adjust my stuff, the oven, until after I've started baking something, and usually I'm like, oh, it's too hot. So we can't follow like the box. We can't follow the instructions on anything we bake because we have to adjust it to our 4,000 feet above sea level elevation and the fact that I think our oven runs really hot. So I've had to turn the oven down.
Yeah, hey, there's like smell down here.
What does it smell like?
Smells like banana muffins. Mama's going to make delicious banana muffins. I smell the
Smile, Hagen. He's got all those teeth missing. All right, we'll be grabbing these out in just a minute. Okay, I figured I would also get some kind of slow cooker meal going today, and I've got some navy beans. I just saw Jamarel make a navy bean ham soup. I'm not sure if I'm going to be making navy bean ham soup because I have a bunch of Ham Hocks in the fridge, or if I'm going to make navy bean chicken chili soup. So I'm going to go ahead and just add some water to these and let them get soaking. Because when you soak beans, it helps remove some of the phytic acid in them, and phytic acid can cause tooth decay and stomach upset and all that kind of stuff. Over here in the crock pot, I have the chicken broth, the bone stock that I made last night, so we're going to be putting that into cans before I make the navy bean soup. After I get all these muffins and everything out, we'll make the navy bean, whatever it is I make soup. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and take a look at them, see how they're doing. Ooh, they look just about done. Okay, I've got some ham bones from the last 2 hams I made. I'm going to look in the freezer and see if I have any more. So I think I've made more than 2 hams. I'm going to throw these Ham Hocks in here. And they're pretty decent size. They've still got a lot of flavor, a lot of meat left on them. And we're just going to slow cook these with some water and these not water, with a bunch of stuff. I've soaked my navy beans, so I'm going to dump those in there. I'm going to add all the rest of my stuff. So this is something I saw on Jamarel, and we're just going to chop up a bunch of vegetables and add them, add some tomatoes, and add a can of tomatoes, and add some celery, onions, carrots, and I will probably definitely look up a recipe to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I'm going to put this on time lapse so that you guys can see all this get prepared. I'm gonna let this cook. I have it on high right now because the ham hocks were frozen and I've got to run into town real quick. So this is gonna cook on high, and then I'll check it out and see what it looks like when I get back. And then over here we've got, this is the bone broth cooking. I need to strain it out and put it into jars, but I think I'm gonna turn it back on medium and add a little bit more water and let it go until I come back from town, because then I'll be able to mush up the bones by that point. They'll be nice and soft. This will be good and nutritious. And then we can can up some of this to take to my friend that just had a baby. Bone broth is really good for new mothers. So she's gonna get some of this. She's gonna get some of this. She's gonna get the enchiladas I made yesterday. And she's gonna get, I did not show you guys, we've got all the muffins over here. I put some in a bag for her. And then we've got some more for us to throw into the freezer. So I've got some, it's just her, her husband, and her little 2-year-old. So got them some muffins, and yeah, lots of good stuff going on. Made the kids a charcuterie, nothing fancy. Charcuterie. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
This is the ham and navy bean soup that I made. I decided to add some kale to it. I did not add kale to the bit that I gave to my girlfriend who just had a baby, but added some kale to ours. So good, so yummy. Here's the kids. I didn't put kale in theirs either. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you guys have a great week. Spread a little bit of that happiness around in your community. Share the love. And until next time, you guys, bye.